Coming to you from the Loading Ready Run orbiting underground moon base, it's the LRRcast. Delta now, yeah. This would be the third or fourth podcast from this set, which is still partially under construction, but
partially. I'm glad the camera doesn't face that
not
way.
From your point of view.
Yeah. There's some improvements to make. Mm-hmm. There's some different microphones on their way. Also, that'll be exciting. But this is part 2, I guess, of the best of 2015.
Oh.
I mean, it's part 2 makes it sound like a sequel. There were plenty of sequels in 2015, but really, this is what we thought were the things that were in 2015.
Not even the best of 2015, but the liked.
Well, that's what I mean. Our best things. Now, because of when we're recording this, we haven't seen the other people's, like the other episode. Mm-hmm. I'm just assuming it was an hour of Cam talking about Fury Road.
Dope. Well, there's my content gone.
Yeah, I mean, should we start with movies?
Sure.
Probably.
Mad Max was a good movie.
Mad Max was very, 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 very good.
Really good movie.
I liked it a lot.
I would actually briefly, Paul. You were here for the other podcast, right? How much effusive praise was heaped upon Mad Max?
It wasn't like we didn't spend an untoward amount of time on it.
All right.
We also went into Star Wars.
Okay, Star Wars as well, yeah.
I would really like to have an entire program devoted to talking about Star Wars.
I think we will have an entire episode talking about The Force Awakens, because there is a lot to talk about.
There's quite a lot to talk about.
It was an important movie.
It was really good.
I only
really
saw it
good.
in 2016, but wait a minute. Now I'm confused.
Oh, it came out?
Come out?
Yeah, it came out in mid-December.
I saw it this year, but it came out last year.
Technically a 2015.
I mean, going way back, though, like we had Mad Max. That was a fantastic film.
Mm-hmm.
Let's roll it back. Jupiter Ascending was a great romp.
Was it?
You know what?
I wanted to see it. I never got around to seeing it.
I think I would have.
It looked ridiculous.
It is.
in a way that I would enjoy.
Yeah, it was. First of all, it's a new property, which is always nice to see in films. Mm-hmm. It's original, and it was just a fun story, an adventure story.
Man, you know what? It was stupid and it was fun, and I think I really liked it.
Was this This wasn't the Wachowskis, was it?
It was.
Yes.
Oh, it was. Oh, great.
Yeah,
even better.
Further cements my feeling that they know how to do fun, actiony
well,
stories.
You know what? As Cam once said, the one thing the Wachowskis are not ever guilty of is boring you.
Yeah.
You know, they make mistakes with their movies, but they're never dull.
I still really want to see Cloud Atlas, even
So
though
do
I've heard things.
Because I've heard that a lot of people's reaction to that is like, wow, they really did that?
Yeah.
Damn.
Also that it's like, not great, maybe.
Not great, but it's just like...
So what was Jupiter Ascending like?
It was... I wasn't sure what film it was going to be going into it. And then it turned into sort of an inverted fairy tale.
You know what it was? It was a female gazy action film.
Yeah.
Sci-fi action film.
And I think that's why
it was really interesting to have like that flipped. Just like the exact dynamic that's usually in those kind of movies, just like inverted. And I was like
take Scarlett Johansson.
Just like, my shirt seems to have come off.
From the Marvel movies and make her into a man.
I did have a little trouble from the trailers, a little trouble buying, like, Channing Tatum as a space elf. Just because he's...
Space puppy.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I love puppies.
He is so very of this earth. Mm-hmm. Like, his face is such, like, it's like, oh, yeah, that guy.
That is a man who evolved from apes.
And not Doge.
He's
spoilers.
He's a space dog.
Mm-hmm. Space Doge.
All right.
With hover boots.
I'm even more interested.
Yeah.
Some sort of wrist shield.
Yeah, very anime, actually.
Oh, man.
But
now that you mention it, that
was it basically
movie
just
was
live-action anime?
Fuck.
Really, it was. And I think that, again, comes back
There's a
around
race
to the,
of dragon men who wear trench coats.
Yeah.
Like, that's the movie. It's just like dragon men trench coats. Go see it.
Rollerblades through space.
Space rollerblades.
Wow.
With trails. Yeah. So it's...
I should have looked this up beforehand. I should
Shit,
pull up
now
a list
I want to see this again.
I should pull up a list of movies that came out last year, because
yeah, like, it's not... It isn't... it is really stupid.
It's not high art,
but
it's fun.
it's also like pretty aware of how dumb it is, and it just has such a fun time.
It
with
looked like visually it looked amazing.
Yeah.
Like in a weird way,
It's,
just sort of
the
a
design
lot of
is like
a lot of
way up
things
there.
coming at you at once.
Yeah.
Speaking of films that are slightly flawed but still fun, Ant-Man was
Yeah,
also.
I really
Didn't see it.
I really liked it.
Yeah,
it was good.
It's not the best Marvel movie,
No.
but it does a really good job of establishing Ant-Man as a character and keeping you going throughout the entire
I'm
movie.
going to see what movies
Yeah.
actually came out in 2015.
Well,
I didn't see many
here-
of them.
Here, I just pulled up a list.
Yeah, all right.
The year in film, 2015 films.
Highest grossing film.
There you go. We'll scroll on through.
I didn't see any of these.
Yeah, Ant-Man. I really enjoyed. I thought that. So here's my thing with Ant-Man is I was so excited to see Edgar Wright direct a like marquee Marvel blockbuster,
Yes.
and then when that fell through, I was really annoyed because I love Edgar Wright and everything that he does, and I love his style of directing, and I totally get that the way that his movies look would feel very out of place
Yes, in the current
in
Marvel.
the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which like wouldn't be a problem if they were just doing a movie about a Marvel character that was different. You know, just like we're gonna take this Marvel character and we're gonna make a movie about him, and that'll be it. But that they wanted to tie it in with the Avengers so directly, like Falcon is like
Right
is
there.
in Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Spoilers, I guess it's a cameo, really. But because they wanted to make it so like clearly part of the same continuity, I can see that that Edgar Wright's style might not have jived.
Interesting you bring that up, though, because that's something that they can get away with in the comics. You know, every comic doesn't have to look like every other comic, and they can still coexist within this greater sphere of Marvel
Yeah,
comics.
yeah.
It's a shame that they can't make that same logical leap to movies that, hey, just because this looks like an Edgar Wright movie and this looks like a...
That is a bummer. I mean, Deadpool
is a thing that's going to happen.
is Marvel,
Yes.
and it's coming out, and it's going to be very different,
But-
and I doubt it's going to be remotely related to the Avengers.
Because it is not part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's
Yes.
still Fox's
Yeah.
world of mutants and...
Yeah.
There was another movie I saw, Terminator Genesis.
Ooh.
It was not good.
Oh, I'm really sorry about that.
It's
Can
it was better than some of the other sequels, but it was still terrible. It's just like almost no, it didn't work.
I was happy they brought Arnie back for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there were some genuinely really great parts in that movie, but overall it was just a train wreck,
There
which
was
is a shame.
really good film that came out that I saw later in the year, and a sequel,
Oh.
I might add. Pitch Perfect 2
Right.
was the perfect sequel to Pitch Perfect.
Well, that's a good.
Yes,
That's good.
I should have chosen better words, but
Wouldn't get past the. Well, that would either be a terrible lead or a really pithy headline.
I mean, it was exactly what you wanted out of that film. It was more of the same, more of the characters, a little bit
What-
of development, but
What is the same? I haven't seen Pitch Perfect.
well, Pitch Perfect is the story of a really
Much as I love Anna Kendrick.
kind of terrible story of a woman who goes to college and she likes mashups and she
Okay.
does mashups on her computer machine.
What, really?
Yes.
Okay, I'm listening. This is Anna Kendrick's character?
Yes.
Okay, Anna Kendrick makes mashups.
Wait, is Andrew Kendrick's-
You're playing Mattoon, Ian.
Is Andrew Kendrick the blonde one or is she the
She's the tiny one.
right? So okay, yes, not Fat Amy.
Yes.
with the character.
That's Rebel Wilson, right?
Yes.
Yeah. okay.
Who's fantastic
Oh, yeah,
in both
yeah.
films as well. But
Yeah.
Anna Kendrick makes the mashups, and then she is somehow, I guess, forced into joining a glee club, which is a
Excuse me.
all-female glee club,
Okay.
which is a rival to the all-male glee club
Oh, no.
on campus. And then they
They go to states.
well, they do.
Basically.
I mean, the girls' glee club has some stale old standards that everyone has always sung since.
And then mashups happen.
yes, and then she teaches them about mashups,
This is fantastic.
and a lot of good lines, a lot of good setups for comedy. There is a I guess a glee off battle in a abandoned pool building that happens.
That's so
That's just-
like a street fight,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
with mashup singing.
Exactly. And apparently this is a thing that had happened for years. It's a tradition in that university.
We're gonna go to the abandoned pool and
Yeah, to have our glee
have
off.
us have a sing fight.
Yes.
Okay, this movie sounds better and better.
Yep.
I didn't know this is what Pitch Perfect was.
Yeah,
I'd only seen the trailers, and this was not clear.
the trailers do a very bad job of marketing it to what the actual audience is, which is us, and not the intended marketed audience, which is tweens, I guess.
I mean, to be fair, it's huge with tweens.
Yes.
It's they're doing a fine job with the people who are most likely to buy their merchandise.
But the thing about Pitch Perfect 2 is that it didn't sell out. It was,
Oh.
it's exactly more the same. All of your favorite characters are there. All of them.
They're doing a third one, aren't they?
They might be.
I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah, if it's that successful.
There's more mashups.
I look forward to it.
All right.
Always more mashups.
What other movies did you enjoy?
Yeah, because I did my homework.
All right.
So Age of Ultron, I enjoyed. I don't know if I'd put it in the top of my lists. The Martian was
Wait, the Transformers movie?
Age of Ultron, the Avengers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
there was a Transformers Age of Ultron.
I mean, there's a robot in it.
It's true. Inside Out.
Ultron sounds like a Transformer.
I
Was-
really regret not watching that film because
Oh.
I've heard it's incredible.
Get your Kleenex ready because
That's what I figured. It's just like I actually end up missing a lot of these things because I'm like, I don't have the emotional fortitude to deal with this right now.
Now I hear that the Friendly Dinosaur, the Good Dinosaur,
Yeah.
is actually the better Pixar film this year.
What?
Really? I heard it was not that good.
Huh.
Interesting.
But I guess neither of us have seen it, so we can't really speak to it.
You mean
No.
taste is subjective?
What? I take offense to that. Personally.
My my other like shining favorite film of 2015.
Can I take a guess?
Go for it.
Spectre?
No, though I did really enjoy it.
Okay.
I actually quite enjoyed Spectre. I'm a sucker for Bond films. I have all the Bond films on Blu-ray.
You watch them every week.
We've sort of fallen off since Baby arrived, but we were going through the intent was to watch them all leading up to Spectre, but we're on License to Kill. Yeah.
We're busy.
Yeah. So we got License to Kill, and then the Brosnan ones, and then the other Daniel Craig ones. But Spectre was not perfect. It was no Skyfall. Not that Skyfall was perfect, but Skyfall was very, very good. Spectre was not as good as Skyfall.
But it was no Quantum.
But I really enjoyed it. I thought that it was neat that they did the sort of the weird continuity between all the Daniel Craig movies, and at the same time, I think it was unnecessary, and they tried a little hard. I frankly thought Christoph Waltz was a little wasted.
Yeah.
He needed more time. He barely got a really solid bad guy monologue. Like Javier Bardem in Skyfall, his whole soliloquy about the rats was amazing, and Christoph Waltz didn't get a chance to really chew the scenery on that level.
He was really barely in the movie.
Yeah, which I was kind of bummed about. I also was hoping for a little more from Batista. His character was sweet, but there wasn't reading an interview with him beforehand, he was talking about how he didn't just want this. He and the director didn't just want this character to be whatever, some dumb henchman, right? But it's he wasn't any more or less interesting than Odd Job.
It was a Craig heavy film.
Yeah, it really, really was. But yeah, it was fun. It was a romp. I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
But and the opening theme was so not good. I don't know. Adele is still alive. You should probably just keep getting her to do them.
And the Radiohead one was.
I haven't actually heard it.
It was an interesting take on it.
Was it better as a Bond theme?
I'd say yes.
Because this is the thing. the Bond producers don't seem to understand this, that there's a difference between things that work really well as a Bond theme and things that will top in the charts. And the Sam Smith song, I'm sure it did well in the charts. You look at like Nobody Does It Better, and a lot of the ones from the sort of the 70s and 80s did very well in the radio charts and are awful Bond themes.
What was I was going to talk about?
Skyfall managed to be both.
View to a Kill.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, which was
View to a Kill was sweet.
yeah, and did well in the charts.
But yeah, so I enjoyed Spectre, but Ex
Stand up.
Machina.
This is
I gotta
one I
see
keep
that.
hearing
You
about.
guys
Gotta see
both
it.
need to. You especially. You both really need to see this
I-
movie.
There was a
been-
lot of robot movies this year that
I've
I
been-
didn't see that I regret.
terribly spoiled by Ex Machina by listening to a podcast that compared it and her
Oh no,
as interesting. But I still,
it's really good.
I don't think I'll miss out on
It's
Ex
still
Machina. But
really
I
good.
won't be spoiled.
What was funny though is that Ex Machina it's a very discreet movie. Like it's very small. There's 3 people.
Extremely intimate is what I've heard.
Yeah, exactly. There's 3 characters
Go on.
in the whole movie. It I could easily see it being a stage play, right?
Yeah,
Ooh.
Yeah, it's really really good, and but the 2 male characters where a lot of the conflict arises is Domhnall Gleeson and Oscar Isaac, aka
Poe Dameron.
Poe Dameron and not respectively. Sorry, General Hux and Poe Dameron.
Oh.
yeah.
Oh.
And so
Oh.
I knew that Oscar Isaac was in The Force Awakens, but I didn't know Domhnall Gleeson was in it.
Very different look for Oscar Isaacs though too.
That he's unrecognizable because in Ex Machina he's wearing tank tops the whole time and he's cut, by the way, and he has like super short buzzed hair and a massive
Yeah,
beard.
huge. Like that beard took some time. To
Yeah, and he's wearing glasses. He's wearing like thick rimmed glasses. And then I was like, that's the same guy. Oh yeah, it is too. And anyway, but. So they are both, all 3 of the main cast in Ex Machina are fantastic. Domhnall Gleeson, by the way, Brendan Gleeson's son. Brendan Gleeson, he was in Bruges. He played Mad Eye Moody in the Harry Potter films. He's just like character actor, been in like a billion things. Domhnall Gleeson also played Bill Weasley, the eldest and least seen
That's
Weasley.
right. That's why people keep talking about don't piss off the Weasleys.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, the point is Ex Machina is really, really good. You
All
should
right.
you should really watch it.
Putting it on my
It's
list.
just a solid film.
I'm sold. See,
I think I'm tapped out on movies unless we want to
Okay.
just talk more about how great Mad Max and Star Wars were.
they're both really good. Maybe we should just have a podcast that's like Mad Max and Star Wars.
Yeah, without okay. So I know, like Ian said, like we're gonna talk about Star Wars, but I think, I mean, Cam said this to me, so he probably said it in the other podcast. I think it was really important that J.J. Abrams and Disney and everyone involved in the new thing showed that they could play in that sandbox, and they had like the reason that there's so many. To say it's the same movie as A New Hope is to be reductive to the point of being unhelpful. There are many parallels. Absolutely, there are many parallels, especially visually. Mostly visually, actually. They're mostly visual parallels. But anyway, I think it was really important that they did that because they had to...
Look, we can get this right.
Yeah, they had to prove, like, they had to get new fans, and boy, did they.
Yep.
But they had to prove to the old fans that they could do something that looked and felt like Star Wars.
Yeah, and they did.
Well, and they did, and
I
it was
really
great.
think that those parallels are again. I'll get into it whenever we get to a full-on show about it. But I think that they were intentional.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the hero's journey, right?
Yeah.
It's the same hero's journey. It's all the Star Wars movies are going to follow the hero's
but
journey.
I think it's actually commentary on the hero's journey. And
Also, my favorite thing, my dad was lamenting that there was no the shot of Luke looking out at the two suns. There wasn't a shot kind of on that scale on Jakku. And the thing is, visually no, but I loved this. Luke looks out at the two suns while his theme plays, and that is him saying, I want to go out there, right? I want to look. I want to go. It's such a big universe. I want to go out there. Rey's version of that is when she sees the old lady cleaning, and she says inside, "I don't want to be here." It's different. It's important that it's different. It's not, I want to go out there. It's, I can't be here. She sees the old lady doing what she's doing, and she's like, in 80 years, I'm going to be sitting here doing this, scrabbling for portions.
The portion master is great. Like, it's interesting you say that. 'Cause
Putting on the helmet is cool,
Yeah.
right? But her flip of that moment is her seeing the old lady. And she has different motivations than Luke. I think it's really interesting.
It's like a push-pull kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're going in the same direction, but the impulse is different. Wow.
Like even when she's talking to Han and is like, I have to go back. She doesn't want to go back to Jakku. She's just like, I have to.
Yeah.
When what's her face is just like, they're not coming back. And
Yeah.
She just like bursts into tears. Spoilers, by the way.
Well, that's everyone in that film. Everyone's trying to go back to where they came from, and it's not.
And if you go there, it's disaster.
yeah, it's not working out for anyone. The only person who's trying to get away, people think he's an idiot for doing it. That's the movies of the year.
There's a lot of Star Wars.
We're gonna talk about
Television?
Fallout 4.
Oh, video games?
Yeah, let's do
All
video
right,
games.
Video games.
Video games.
Basically, until Fallout 4 came out, I played mono Destiny.
Yeah. I have zero experience with Destiny.
It's good.
That's what I hear. I mean, it looks
My game of the
good.
year is Sparrow Racing.
So, because we'll get to Fallout.
Oh, yeah.
I think the Taken King was the sort of the year 2 expansion for Destiny. It came out at the end of 2014. No, when did it? No, it came out. Sorry, 2014. No, mid 2015. Sorry, it was the summer, early September. When did Taken King come out? I don't know why I said 14.
See, I did that video and it was summer.
The point is, I played Destiny almost every day. It was like my sort of wind down. Like, I'd go home, turn on Destiny, get on with the Loading Ready Run clan, play for a couple hours. Is really super fun. Being able to play with a clan and being able to play with friends was super important to making it continue to be fun, because there did seem to be, like, you could keep playing content over and over again and it was still fun. And I've said this before, I've lamented, I've shouted this from the heavens, that thank God that Bungie is really good at making games, because the core gameplay feels good. The running, jumping, shooting, the way that the guns reload and the way that they look and everything, and how throwing grenades and shooting enemies and all that, the actual core gameplay feels good. If it didn't, Destiny would be fucked.
Yeah.
Because it's just, it viscerally is enjoyable to play.
Which for that kind of game is real
Which is
important.
super important, because you have to play it. You have to do the same sort of stuff over and over again to try and get the drops you want and everything, because it basically is an MMO. When The Taken King came out, that game was transformed. The criticism that Destiny, when it launched, was basically a year-long open beta that we had to pay for is a funny joke that I think is unfair. But I understand why people make the joke. Because it did feel like, for the scale of the universe, the scale of the content felt very small. But in The Taken King, boy, did they take a lot of stuff on board. The cinematics, the storyline, fleshing out the other NPCs in the tower, really making it feel like you were important. Like, rather than, because again, it's an MMO, rather than just like, there's a mission, go do the mission, and you're like, I guess, yeah, but I mean, everyone's doing this mission. It's not, my character's not special. In The Taken King, Nathan Fillion's character, Cade, is like, you are going to, specifically you, are going to be a strike team and go into the Dreadnought and do this thing before every other Guardian in the world shows up and does this, even though everyone gets that mission. It feels more like they're actually making your character feel more special, which is good. And then the quality and amount of the content, like the raid, way better than Crota's End. Crota's End was not a good raid, but the King's Fall raid is really good. Like mechanically, it's fun, and they've been adding more stuff to it since then. Yeah, Destiny's really picked up, and
Still good.
Sparrow Racing.
Yep.
Raising.
Sorry, was that?
I've got a couple of small games that I'm just remembering now.
think
We're
we
really
might
good
share
this year.
one.
We probably will.
Real quick, can we finish?
Yes, go for it.
Talking about Sparrow Racing.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the thing. Everyone's wanted, half jokingly, wanted Sparrow Racing from the beginning. It's like, oh, we should race with Sparrow, half jokingly, half seriously. And they were like, we're going to do Sparrow Racing. And so everyone's like, okay, cool. I did not expect the level of
So
finesse in the design.
it could be its own game.
Yeah, I did not expect them to put as much work into Sparrow Racing as they did in terms of how much extra gear and graphics and
The design of the tracks.
Yeah.
The
literally everyone's only complaint is that there weren't more tracks. So
but
good job.
I would
Add
put
more
down
tracks.
$40 to $60 just to get 8 tracks
Yeah.
as an expansion of its own.
I would like a little more communication from Bungie as to what their sort of plans are going forward, because they've said that like they're not, because the first year it was like game expansion, year 2 expansion, right? And they've said that they're not doing that they're, because now they have the in-game real money currency, and they're like, we're gonna do microtransactions for aesthetic stuff, and then we'll just release free content periodically. But they've said periodically, and they haven't said what. But the Festival of the Lost for Halloween was phenomenal. Sparrow Racing was outstanding. I want to know what else is going on and what it is going forward. And obviously, there's still problems with like
Leading up to
Crucible lag and things like
Destiny.
that. But they're doing fantastic jobs with it, and I'm really excited about it. All right, little games before we talk about Fallout 4 for an hour.
Downwell.
okay.
It's
so good.
It's so good. It's so clean and clever, and it plays great, and it's fun, and it's hard as shit.
It also
It's
it works phenomenally on mobile.
It's also $3.
Because it's like you can like you're playing it on Steam. It's awesome
Yeah.
on Steam. But if you have it on mobile, because it's vertical, it fits. It's as a phone game.
Well, it's also like
great.
a 3-button game.
And it's
Yeah.
actually playable.
Yeah, left,
It's
right,
one of
jump.
those games that's like almost infuriatingly well designed.
Yes,
It's just like, and it looks really simple until you realize just how much like animation and like how much tweaking must have
How come
happened
I
to make
didn't
it
come
play
up
that
with
well.
this?
Yep.
You're like, dope. So Downwell, there's not even a lot to be said about it. It's just excellent. Vagante,
Oh,
I-
God,
You're thinking
I've forgotten about Vagante.
I did not play Vagante.
it's good, and I think it's going to get better.
It's going to be really good.
It was a
once-
complete surprise to me, actually. Like, I saw, because there's like actually a shit ton of like, sort of like procedural dungeon crawlers with pixel graphics, and they're mostly garbage.
Yeah.
But this one,
because it's not procedurally generated.
yeah, it is.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh.
Bob.
How did you not notice that?
Because we kept doing the same dungeons over and over again.
With the exact same layout?
Yeah. It felt like.
That's
Maybe-
weird. No,
okay.
it's
Maybe-
definitely
does it have a
procedurally
Rogue
generated.
Legacy option where you can like lock in the dungeons?
Maybe.
Weird.
Anyway.
Because it is absolutely
I was gonna say,
procedurally
once
generated.
it
Yeah.
gets more stuff to it, it's going to be really good for crossing the streets.
It is gorgeous, like 16-bit era, like top-end SNES style graphics, and looks really, really good. With like modern sort of little things with like lighting and crap like that. It plays great. It's like a roguelike, and it's co-op multiplayer.
It's roguelike.
Leveling your characters and choosing abilities they all feel good. They all mean things. when
It's
you
also
think-
really cool because in multiplayer, if you get killed, I mean, like in a roguelike game, when you're dead, you're dead. In this game, when you die, your player comes back as a skeleton.
Yep.
And
Love it.
you can't do much,
I love it.
but you still get to play and you still get to help.
And you can get
And you
brought
might
back.
come back.
And you get to freak out your co-op partners by going, I'm a skeleton. I have 2 mobile games, because you reminded me about mobile games.
Oh, okay.
Pac-Man 256.
I laugh, but I know why.
It's really
so
good. So it was developed by Hipster Whale, which is the team that made Crossy Road. So if you're familiar with Crossy Road, it's super fun. Basically, they took a glitch and made a game out of it. So if you're not familiar with what this is level 256 of the original Pac-Man. If you can actually get there, half of it is glitched out, and you can't see it, and it's completely messed up, and you can't play it. And it's as far as you can get in Pac-Man because you can't beat the level. So Pac-Man 256 it's an endless scroller. They basically took like the layout of a Pac-Man level, right, where you're going around collecting the pellets, and it's extended forever. It goes forever. And there's different ghosts, and they follow you in different ways.
Oh, wow.
And you are being chased by the glitch.
Oh.
It is like creeping up on you and getting closer and closer.
That's
and there's
scary.
different power-ups that you can get, like obviously the normal pellet, but you can make yourself huge. There's like bomb stuff.
Lasers.
It's just really slickly designed. It's just a very cool idea for a game, and it was executed really well. It's not like astounding. I just think it's neat. But mobile game of the year for me, Alpha Bear. Really good.
Good.
Really, really good. It's a word puzzle game. It's made by Spry Fox, who made Triple Town, and you will have heard us talk about Triple Town before, years ago. It's the design, like the visual design, is delightful. Of all the little bears, I think the visual design did a big part of helping this game get noticed. And then when you get into the game, it's a word puzzle game, right? So you get these letters on a grid, and you use the letters to make words, and the bigger words you make, the bigger score you get. And then when you clear out an area of the letters, then it fills in with a little bear, and they're adorable. And you unlock different bears in different outfits, and the different bears basically are sort of modifiers. So you can use you can go into a level with 3 bears, and one of them will be like, words with R score 10 points more, or things like that. And it's fun. It's a fun little mobile word game.
You had a different game in mind.
Before you guys hit Fallout 4,
Yeah.
I want to bring up 3 games quickly.
Do it up.
Yeah.
Chroma Squad, which
That looked fun. I didn't play it, but I watched you
It's a
play
Super
it.
Sentai
Yeah,
game,
it is
right?
a Super Sentai game. It's a game that's basically built for me and people like me.
Okay.
It was a lot of fun. I don't know if it probably has replay value. I'll get back to it.
Do you get to pose and fire smoke bombs behind you?
Oh yes.
Of course you do.
Obviously.
Super Sentai game.
And then
That's fair.
2 last games. One I have just started, but I'm still gonna stick it in my best 2015.
Yeah.
Undertale.
Yeah.
2 hours in, and it's already. This is.
I only played. Okay, so I played like about a third on stream, and I was just like squealing the whole time with utter delight. I haven't finished it yet, but I know it's good, and I just need to sit down.
I already feel bad about making some of the choices.
Well, that's
I have.
like it's another one of those
it's
games where it's just like I need way more spoons to tackle this because I know it's just going to be like ugly crying.
Well, and that brings me to my final game that I have finished, and that's the Beginner's Guide.
Oh, I didn't play that one. I had it very strongly recommended to me.
Yeah, it will bring up those discussions of what is game,
Oh,
because in a way it's kind of like a lecture about video games, and then halfway through it turns into a lecture about video games.
all right. I gotta play this.
And so yeah, it's there's not much interaction, but it's an important piece of work to experience and to think and talk about. And I can't say much about it because that would start to give things
Well,
away.
I mean, it's the same deal as it was with Stanley Parable.
Yeah, but
where the
same creator.
surprise works once.
And this-
I mean, with maximum impact.
what I'm happiest about this though is that the creator has not answered any questions about it.
Whoa,
So
I like that.
mystery.
I should also give a shout out to Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom Pain, because it's very good. I didn't play a lot of it, honestly, because I played it on stream, and then I stopped being able to do my show regularly. And and it was like right when Fallout came out, and I started playing Fallout, and so I'm just sort of focusing on that. And I will go back to Phantom Pain. So I don't know how many hours into it I am. It's very good. It is a very, I didn't think open world Metal Gear Solid would, I didn't think that was something I wanted, and turns out it's actually pretty sweet. And there's a lot of stuff in that game. The whole
Realistic horse shitting.
building mother base, yes.
C-3PO's arm is in it.
Yep.
What? No.
Well, you got like a cyborg
God,
arm and it's red.
I can't believe I fell for that.
Anyway, the point is, it's very, very good. I don't think I've experienced it enough to really spout effusive praise on it. Fallout 4, however,
Oh boy.
how you enjoying it?
I knew this was going to be good, and it was even better than I expected. Like, I liked Fallout 3. My introduction to the Fallout series was Fallout 3. And I've heard a lot of criticism of the more recent 3D ones from people who played the first, few, who were just like, oh, they like dumbed it down and made it like not an RPG, and it's just like an action shooter. It's like, I mean, even if that's true,
They're still good.
they're still really good, and 4 is really, really good. Like, for me, it took everything that I liked about 3 and made it better in every possible way.
Yeah. So, I have nitpicks, obviously.
Oh, so do
about
I.
Fallout 4. My main couple is that the only... I don't even mind the dialogue, the sort of the 4-option dialogue wheel. On PC, of course, you can get that mod that spells
It shows
out
you actually what you're going to say.
what you're
instead
going to
of
say.
just like, no, I don't want to say that.
Which I do like. I don't mind that at all. I would have liked... Something I liked about all the previous Fallout games, and this includes Fallout 3 and New Vegas, is that you have your charisma checks, where you can be like, hey, and you can sort of like sweet talk someone. But if you have high ranks in science, you will get an optional speech check because you know something about computers that someone's trying to bullshit you on, or you get high ranks in intelligence, or even if you just have high strength, you can just threaten someone, right? And in Fallout 4, it's only charisma checks. There's only speech checks
That's a
based on
shame.
charisma. And that's kind of a bummer, because I liked the idea that... And they didn't come up often, but again, New Vegas did this best. So generally speaking, people who say that, about how the new games are dumbed down, which I think is an incorrect use of that term. But anyway, talking about comparing it to the previous games... New Vegas is considered the peak of the 3D Fallout games.
That's also what
because
I've
it was made by Obsidian, and they really focused on dialogue and making sure that you could talk your way through everything. Like
Well-
you can easily beat New Vegas without being violent, whereas
is
Fallout
cool.
4 you absolutely do not have that option. Like someone did a no kills run of Fallout 4 in that if you look at the stats on their Pip-Boy, there are no kills attributed to them.
I see. They just sort of farmed it out.
But they had to and companion kills count for you, so they had to use the perk where if you aim your gun at someone, you have a chance to subdue them. And so he would subdue people and be like, you kill him, or leading people off cliffs, or he had to, because there are certain people
really
there's certain people in the game you just can't get around.
Uh-huh.
And that was the other thing that that's my other nitpick with Fallout 4 is you got the Raiders, you've got Gunners, you've got the Triggermen.
They're all the same.
You've got all these different factions, basically the same, and you can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
You can't join the Forged at Saugus Ironworks. You show up at the robot racetrack, and just everyone shoots at you. It's basically Fallout 4 is finding these really interesting places, and then
murdering everyone.
everyone shoots you as soon as you
Yeah.
get there. It's like
I am pretty tired of
Libertalia was this Waterworld place.
No, that would have been so
full of raiders
cool.
that shoot at you. I found a crater with some crazy cultists. They all
Yeah.
shot at me. I found there's a quarry, or there's a abandoned asylum, or it's just all these places, and all it is filled with raiders or gunners who shoot at you.
Yeah, I am a little tired of the perma aggroed enemies that can't be interacted with in any means other than shooting at them,
Yeah.
which is a shame.
Like-
That having been said, I still really like Fallout 4.
Oh yeah,
Because-
those are my nitpicks.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
Fallout
those
4
are,
sweet. I've been playing a lot
just
of it.
the thing was that the world was so interesting, and the main story thread was all right, I think people shit on it more than it deserves.
Absolutely they do, but I agree
But-
it's not the best.
The best stories that I encountered were the ones that were not spoken at all.
Oh my god.
Just the situations I encountered, there's like so
much
many...
so much environmental storytelling in that game.
That is like 100% my shit. That is like, I get so fucking happy when I like just encounter a situation where something has happened and the evidence is strewn all around and you can figure it out just by looking at it.
There was one of the like endless BS quests that you get sent on by Preston there's a farm that is having bad water. Like the water that they use to grow crops down the river is all messed up, and they ask you to go check out the pumping station.
I didn't
And
get that one.
it's clogged and flooded, and there's mirelurks, obviously. So you go through this thing of like lowering the water by.
Oh, I did
like,
do that one, but I didn't have a mission to do that.
Oh, okay. So you like go from pump to pump and like lower the water, and after like 3 levels lowered, you open like a watertight sealed door.
Right.
And on the other side of the door is further away from the door is 3 skeletons, and right beside the door is a skeleton with a blowtorch and a skeleton with a sledgehammer.
And you're just like,
You're like, the staff got locked in.
Did you find the presidential bunker? Where there's like there's like a side building and there's like a couple guys slumped at radio terminals, and then there's like a huge armored door and a tractor trailer that has ripped it off, and people again at the door with tools that have just died in place.
No.
And it's been sealed.
Oh wow.
And you go in and it's like this survival bunker that goes like way, way, way down. And you find some tragic stories there as well, but it's just like all that stuff like is all over the place. And I just had the most fun like ferreting out those little
So great.
details.
I think one of my favorites is still from Fallout 3, which is in a sewer. There's like a underground storm drain, and it goes sort of like down, and then there's an intersection. It keeps going, and there's a pile of wood in sort of like a ramp at the bottom of the storm drain. So there's the ramp, and there's a motorcycle, and then hanging from the light fixture at the center of the intersection is a skull and spine hanging off like the bottom of the chin. 'Cause someone went off the jump and got too much air and like
there's so much
ripped
good
themselves
skeleton
out.
storytelling in that game.
It's
like,
amazing.
I'm trying to think of some of my favorite
storytelling.
ones. Like you find like the really sad ones where it's just like, you know, this skeleton in a blue dress clutching a portrait, and there's a gun with 1 round.
Yeah.
But there's like,
Even just the stuff in all the terminals, like going through Hubris Comics and reading the back and forths between the people who created this beloved comic book character and the people who are trying to adapt it to a movie.
yeah,
Radio plays. It was a beloved comic book character, and they made radio plays, and then these Hollywood people are coming in trying to make a movie out of it,
That's
and reading the
terrible.
back and forth between like the creator and the writer and the producer and everything, and just everyone is just
Yeah.
just hates each other, and you get this whole story as you go through, and then you eventually get to the producer's room, and he's sitting on the couch, or like there's a skeleton on the couch holding a beer bottle, and the waste paper basket beside his desk is filled with nothing but empty bottles.
wow. There's one other really great one that also made me, you know, it was a shame that the raiders are only perma aggro. It's like 2 ends of a story as told through like journal entries on terminals. It's like you get either half of the same story from the 2 different perspectives, and they're kind of portrayed as just being like kind of ruthless survivors.
Yeah.
And you know, at one point they're just sort of like, yeah, they call us raiders now. I guess we're raiders, you know. We got ripped off by these caravanners so many times that we're just like, fuck it, we're gonna, you know, hold people up now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like it just you get this portrait of just like people doing what they have to survive, even if that's like sometimes unsavory, and that like it sort of follows like this girl goes missing, And, on the one end, it's like, I'm going to find my sister and, I'll figure out what happened to her. On the other end, it's like, we got her, we're holding her as like a bargaining chip. Oh no, she died. We put her in the like beer vat.
It's tough to be evil in the game. That's another negative, because even when you say asshole things,
Yep.
in the
They're like, oh, that's not very nice.
in the dialogue,
well, here's your mission anyway.
people are just endlessly patient with you, right? It's like, hey, I think this thing. You can there's points where you can literally make your character say that's bullshit, and then the other person's like, I understand why you're upset. I get it, and it's that's weird.
Yeah,
but
the
what I
choices not
love
mattering was a thing.
What I love though is that the three big factions in the game. There's 4 factions basically,
Yeah.
but one of them is not as plot relevant. But the 3 main factions, none of them are good and none of them are evil.
I know. It's so weird. Like, you know what? I actually didn't beat the game because I just got to a point where it's like, you're all assholes and you all have a point.
I made a decision. I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
But yeah,
I couldn't. I was just like, I just want to keep you all in perfect balance.
yeah.
Because this is going to be shitty for someone if I, choose a path here. And really, I just want to, go stomp around with Piper.
I've never used companions.
Really?
Before. Never in
There?
Oblivion or Skyrim or Fallout 3 or New Vegas. No patience for them. I love the companions in Fallout
Same.
4.
They were really good. They were really good in this game.
And I'm romancing every single one that gives me the option to.
Get in there.
I love Hancock so much.
I hear he's pretty cool.
He's great.
Like
I'm playing a male character. Spoilers, I guess. I'm playing a male character.
Spoiler.
You can romance Hancock because he just doesn't. He's just like whatever.
Okay.
Hancock's character is basically if it feels good, do it. Right. And so that's why he's a ghoul, because he took some drugs.
He took drugs.
Experimental drugs and was like, oh, I guess I'm a ghoul now.
Well,
All right. So you could be like, hey, what about what about us as? He's like, you're a really good friend. Really? What about more than just friends? He's like, well, I'd be lying if I hadn't been thinking it. So good. How much time do we have?
It's that time now, so probably
Oh,
wind it in soon.
all right.
Right.
Well, what else you got going on?
I've got a few more categories here. I
Okay.
don't know if we want to go through them.
Yeah, go for it.
Music is. Do you guys have any music that you want to talk about quickly?
I pretty much didn't listen to. Haven't listened to a lot of new music.
My music was really small this year, my best of 2015, but
Go
3
for it.
standouts. Hamilton. So good.
I need to finish listening to
as
that.
a musical. I was wandering around downtown Edmonton crying my eyes out listening to
Aw.
that thing. It was so moving.
I only heard about it, like people just talking about Hamilton with no further context.
I didn't understand that either.
And when it was 2 weeks ago, James explained it to me as like it's a hip hop musical about Alexander Hamilton, the first Secretary of State of the U.S. And I'm
That
like,
was not at all.
now I'm interested.
Yeah.
Treasury Secretary.
No, people
Treasury
kept.
Secretary. Sorry.
We're just like Hamilton. I was like, what's happening in Ontario?
Yeah.
I seriously thought that. I was like, what?
Nothing good. Seth Boyer's cover of All Star and his album Get Wrecked
Yeah.
in general, just that's top of list.
So good.
And Tokyo Ska Paradise Orchestra's ensemble
They're still
album,
doing stuff?
The Last.
I
It's
haven't-
not their last album, but
I haven't heard their stuff since Tondemo Crisis.
okay, because they've been doing a bunch of collaborations with other jazz and rock bands over the past year, and there's some really good stuff coming out. So
Crazy.
Since you mentioned Seth Boyer in the realm of awesome internet music, Bustin'.
yeah, Bustin', yeah, Neil
need-
Cicerega,
You need to go listen to Bustin' by Neil
Yep.
Cicerega.
he is
Just Google Bustin'.
Song of the year.
Bustin',
If 2015 wasn't the year of the All Star, it would be Bustin'.
Oh, wow.
Anime, of course, there'll be its own show. Comics. Anyone read any comics?
Shit, I think I did. And it's completely going out of my mind.
Okay,
I don't know if I've read any comics that came out this year, but I picked up and burned through Pluto,
Pluto is so good.
which is just like,
Urasawa nailed that.
I know it's
Completely.
it's
Astro
the
Boy.
yeah it's the artist that did Monster,
Yep.
which is also incredible. it's basically a dramatic retelling of the world's strongest arc from Astro Boy.
Yep. Told from the point of view of one of the side characters.
Oh, wow.
And it's mind-blowing in how devastating it is emotionally.
Okay.
Fuck.
And art is fantastic.
It's really good.
Comics I read this year that are standouts, though, Unbeatable Squirrel Girl is perfect
Isn't she
in
like
every
the,
way.
like the most powerful
Yes.
Marvel superhero?
Canonically.
Nice.
And Darth Vader.
Ooh.
If only for seeing Darth Vader's companion protocol droid, who is a black C3 unit, who is trained in linguistics, diplomacy, and torture.
Oh, awkward.
Yes, he's a black C3PO with red eyes.
Oh, well,
It's-
that's scary.
And it's basically Darth Vader's story of what he's doing since the explosion of the first Death Star, trying to hunt down the rebels before Hoth, and all that entails. Sort of
Interesting.
covert operations within the Empire. It's really interesting.
Cool.
Well,
That's comics. Television, I think we can maybe skip that.
You could probably blast through it. Like I don't have a lot, to be honest.
I
mean,
don't have a lot either. I mean,
I have
Dar-
something I could bring up.
Yeah, please.
Gaki no Tsukai.
What is that?
Excuse me.
Alex has been getting into a lot of Batsu.
Oh, is it one of the
that's
Batsu games?
games.
Oh, okay.
Because there was a brand new one this year, as there is every New
year.
Year's.
Yeah.
So just briefly, Gaki no Tsukai is a sketch comedy group, a little like us. And they do all sorts of like Japanese variety TV, and I've been watching all sorts of their cool stuff. But the one that really got me into it was every year for New Year's they do like a 5-hour special called like Absolutely No Laughing something or other, where they put all of them in a situation for 24 hours, and the rules are really simple. You're not allowed to laugh. If you laugh, you get punished. And you have to be there for 24 hours, of course. And the entire scenario is designed to make them laugh.
Of course.
Of course. So it's usually themed, like they did one that was like prison themed, and they did one that was high school themed, and one that was like airport themed. The one this year was detectives. And they just like, they use all of their string pulling powers as like members of the sort of like greater celebrity, comedy sphere, and they just get all these cameos and all these like goofy slapstick gags to just like relentlessly prank them, and they're just trying so hard to not laugh,
That sounds amazing.
and it's futile because it's so funny and really, really weird as a format. I kind of want to do one.
It does translate well too, which is nice.
It's
Nice.
good.
Television-wise, this year I've got to go with the Colbert Report. The Colbert Report, the Late Show with Stephen Colbert,
It's good.
which is really good.
I've been enjoying it.
and it's just going to continue. So there's not much that needs to be said about that.
I
It
mean,
will be
in
here
terms
for a
of
while.
sort of the late night ensemble, it was Jon Stewart's end run on the Daily Show was
Fantastic.
great. I've been really enjoying Trevor Noah on the Daily Show.
He's good.
Obviously, John Oliver on Last Week Tonight
Yep.
is fantastic. James Corden has been really surprising a lot of people by being phenomenal at late night. I don't watch a lot of TV.
There's a bunch of stuff that came out this year that's pretty good, but the standout was the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt was phenomenal.
Yes.
I really enjoyed it. If we're going to talk about Netflix, I also enjoyed Jessica Jones.
It's on my list.
Yeah, but yeah, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt was I was not expecting just in the very first episode. I was not expecting the Songify the News remix to come in the beginning of the first episode
And be the theme song.
and be the theme song, and I love that theme song so much. Speaking of television, WrestleMania for PPV of the year.
Brr, 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 brr.
Takeover Brooklyn, a very close second, but I think they actually did pull out WrestleMania. I'm amazed that they found a way to end that, to end the main event at 2015 WrestleMania in a way that made sense in the awful storyline situation they had put themselves in, and that was actually satisfying. and led to better storylines. The following 10 months of them ramming Roman Reigns down our throat, I could do without.
Less spectacular.
I'm going to keep posting this wrestler until you like it.
I don't even mind him. I just don't think he's ready yet. And they're like, you will love this man. And I'm like, Vince, stop. Why?
Vince never
let it
stops.
let it happen naturally, please. If you want to look up, if you want to see why, like, Roman Reigns, he's got the look, he's great in the ring. Dude is not mic ready yet. Google Roman Reigns tater tots and enjoy the worst wrestling promo of the last 5 years.
I'm gonna
Oh,
do that
dear.
right now.
God, it's like you sound like an 8-year-old having a playground fight.
Oh, well.
Anyway, I could do a whole 2015 on wrestling, but that won't be now.
We'll have like a chain podcast. We'll do anime and wrestling and Force Awakens.
Star Wars. Yeah.
All right. No promises though. 2016 is going to be exciting.
I'm excited. Yeah, I think that's good for it. These are things that we liked from this year.
And maybe, possibly, you will like them
Maybe
or
you
not.
like them as well. What are things that you liked that we didn't talk about?
Put them in the
Talk
thing.
about it in the comments amongst yourselves, and I will read them.
Well, I like competitive pipe fighting.
Cool.
Which really got a toehold this year, you know. You just crack the guy upside the neck and he just goes down.
Immediate image of like a black hard case, pop, velvet line, like purple velvet lining with just
Just
like
rusty,
a rusty,
like,
shitty
angled-
pipe in it. And like,
If your
Yeah.
pipes are
get
rusted,
Bertha out here.
you don't have enough. You don't have enough lead in them.
Yeah, it's true.
It's one of those video game pipes that like actually has the angle on the end with the valve.
Yeah,
Ooh, yeah. The valve's there for flesh damage.
Oh,
just like from Condemned.
gross.
Rip it off the wall. All right. There's our best of 2015. Thank you for listening. As always, our podcasts are brought to you by you and your support of our Patreon at patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun. Please check that out. We very much appreciate it. And we'll talk to you next time when we're probably talking about Star Wars. Let's be honest.
War stores.
Bye, everybody.